We've already had a chance to discuss trade with Russia, but what about trade with one of its closest, or even the closest ally, Belarus? To discuss the topic, we are joined by our guest, Dmitry Balkubets, a political writer, analyst at balkubets.org. Good evening.
Good evening.
So, while Russia claims to be largely unaffected by Western sanctions, I'd like to ask you about the situation in Belarus. Does the Lukashenko regime complain about the restrictions?
Yeah, you're right. After Ukraine war, the trade between Belarus and Euro Union changed. Firstly, sanctions from Euro Union to Belarus just not so efficient like to Russia, and due to this, Lukashenko regime using the situation and trade between the Euro Union, for example, export from Euro Union to Belarus increase in many times. For example, in 10 times increase export from Euro Union cars. 2.5 billion euros last year, cars from Euro Union go to Belarus. It's unbelievable. I know that all these cars go to Russian market. It's also help Lukashenko receive more and more money. That is, I believe that the events that today was in Warsaw from Ukrainian citizens, it's very important to show what happened in trade between the Euro Union and Russia and Belarus. Because one way, from one hand, European politicians, as I said, about support Ukraine. Another way, they continue trade between Russia, but using satellite countries like Belarus, like Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, etc. That is why probably, if they want to continue, okay, but probably they must, for example, 10 or 20% of proceeds of this revenue go to the special fund for Ukrainian people. It will be, I think, it will be good. Why not? If they continue trade.
All the Belarusian opposition, of course, I absolutely agree with you. It's awful that it's still taking place, because I remember, you know, the sanctions were very specific. They were targeted at specific branches of Belarusian economy, and but would you say that some of those were actually affected by the sanctions?
Some of them, because Lukashenko received money from Putin from one side, and another way he received money from Euro Union using the situation with sanctions against Russia, because there are now the same sanctions against Belarus, and Lukashenko received more and more money because trade between Belarus and Euro Union increased, and there are many products from Euro Union going to Belarus and then go to Russia, of course. And that is why we also believe that one way how to release political prisoners in Belarus, it's to stop trade between Belarus and Euro Union before Lukashenko release political prisoners. It's only one way how to release political prisoners. We many times send these letters for European politics, and we waiting some help from them. And we also collect about 38 signatures from Nobel Prize laureate to support our initiative to take more and more measures against Lukashenko regime for release political prisoners, because it's humanitarian catastrophic in Europe. In politics sphere, but we know it's difficult because some of countries in Euro Union, they have influence from business. Yeah, we understand business firstly, politics secondly, but we believe that we must more and more pressure from citizens from all European countries, for politicians, leaders, for some activists, because we believe without any pressure for Lukashenko, he will continue repression in Belarus, because we must to rethinking our strategy not only democratic activists from Belarusian society. We also want to change our strategy from Euro Union. from Euro Commission, because it's very important to send message for Belarusians who now in Belarus that Euro Union continues support not only some message on YouTube or Twitter, but only in real politics.
The West has been very silent lately about the situation in Belarus. Now let's get back to economy. I remember that specifically the sanctions on Belarusian fertilizers were supposed to hit the regime very hard and I don't know, maybe make it even collapse. Now we know that Russians decided to reroute their exports, right, and imports as well through their proxies. Is Lukashenko's regime doing something similar?
Yeah, about fertilizers, potash, for example, products. It's one of the strategic plants in Belarus. It's very important for Lukashenko because he received a lot of money. Yes, this plant is under sanctions, and Lukashenko now rechange export from Euro Union and another countries. Most of them go to China, probably some Brazil, but it's very difficult for them. But he's now together with Russia doing. But last year, do you know that Polish became a country who received potash from China? It's unbelievable. China exports potash to Polish market. I believe that is from Belarus. And probably Lukashenko also create new companies, probably a China company in Belarus, who export fertilizers to Polish market. The same probably in other countries, but I found this information in official statistics in Eurostat. Do you believe that Polish government or Euro Commission don't know about this case? I believe that they very well know about the story. But if this potash is under sanctions, why this happened?
That's a question I will not answer, but I know that there is still a lot of work ahead of European decision makers because it needs to change definitely. Dmitry Balkubets, political writer, analyst at balkubets.org was our guest tonight. Thank you.
Thank you
so much.